Okay, I had a member of my community share a video with me this morning about somebody in Oklahoma who the FBI had stopped by her house to talk to her about some Facebook posts that she had. And the video shows her, and I'm probably late to the party, so you may have already seen it. The video shows her going out of her house. She's got the video on. She's going out of her house, asking them if they can go around front so the dogs don't go off. She looks like she's in a pretty decent neighborhood. She's got dogs in the back. She's coming out the side door or the back door and coming around to the front of the house in the yard. There's 3 agents, 2 men and a woman, and she's asking to video their IDs. That's a red flag for me. And they refused, which I'll get to that here in a minute, why I understand why that they did that. And she said that they could, if they wanted to talk, and she was trying to get them to work into her video so that she could prove that they were harassing her or something. It is how it seemed. But they didn't want their IDs on the video, and they said they had already showed their IDs, but she said she hadn't looked at them, and she would like to see them again. And she said, well, if you want to talk, then you can talk to my lawyer. And they're like, sure, do you have your lawyer's information? And she said, no, we'll get a hold of you. Do you have a card or something? And they got they looked up, they should have had some kind of a card, but they looked up the Oklahoma City FBI office for her lawyer to call. Okay, number one, the people who come out here and work for the FBI, the highway patrol, things like that, they are local people who choose a job like that, or they move into the area with the job and they move their families in and make this their home. So asking them to have their identification where their name would actually be on a video and might go online or something puts their family in danger. However you feel about the institution or the people that are doing this, if they had meant to arrest her or harass her or anything, they wouldn't have knocked. Okay. But they did. And they said that they were just wanting to talk to her. Somebody had sent them screenshots of some of her posts. Okay. And there was concerning stuff. And, well, the first problem is the person that sent them the screenshots. Okay. That person is a problem. So we need to stop our neighbors from doing that stuff. And yeah, we need to be having conversations with our neighbors so they're not doing that. Second of all, I went and looked her up, her name, and there were several, of course, Facebook, there were several with that name. Most of them looked Middle Eastern. It was that beautiful Arabic writing that I cannot read. So I couldn't tell what it was saying, a couple of the profiles looked absolutely legitimate. One looked like maybe a travel agency. One had rainbows and unicorns, and I don't know which one was hers. But, it might have been a mix-up. It might have been the wrong person. Who knows what was going on here. But I wanted to say the way it should have been handled. There is procedure here. And yes, you do have the right to free speech, but within that right, that's the First Amendment, and that's not all the First Amendment says. It says a lot more than that. You need to read the whole thing, okay? So if you're going to quote the First Amendment, you need to know what the whole thing says, all right? So what she should have done was she should not have opened her door. She should have, first of all, instead of turning on a video, she should have called her local sheriff. The sheriff is an elected official. He is constitutional. He is the only one of them, other than the federal marshals, that are constitutional. Okay? Your elected sheriff and your federal marshal, those are constitutional. She should have called her sheriff's office and said, hey, there's some people here that claim to be from the FBI. I don't feel safe. Would you please send an officer? Period. End of story. Okay? You should have a relationship with your sheriff's office. Take cookies or food or something to the dispatchers and make friends with them. Okay? Those dispatchers can save your life. So, and you need to keep in contact with your elected officials. You need to know who they are. You need to go to a county commissioner meeting every once in a while. Be there, be present, let them know who you are, let them know you're interested in being a regular part of the community. Thank you for joining me here, silly girl. And Mr. Pretty there. Yes, they both had to join me. Are you not comfortable? Are you having trouble? Okay. So anyway, that's the first thing she should have done, is call the sheriff's office and ask for an officer to come. And just tell them, just be very simple. Say, there's somebody here, there are people here that are claiming to be from the FBI. I do not feel safe. Please send an officer. That's all they have to do. You know, you give your phone number and your address. After that, if she intended to not be cooperative, she should have said, I do not want to talk to you about this. I can have my lawyer talk to you about this. Do you have a card? My lawyer can get a hold of you. And then they could have given the information to her for her lawyer to get a hold of them. It could have been that simple. But she was trying to make a spectacle out of this. She was trying to make a big deal about it. And in the process, she could have, because she's got video of 3 people she did not have permission to get videos on, and they also have a First Amendment right. Okay? So she put the families of 3 people in danger, because there are people out there that are just going to automatically assume that they had nefarious reasons for being at this woman's house. They don't know this woman. They don't know these people. And it could potentially put these 3 people's families in danger, and their families don't deserve that. Okay? So I have some issues with that. So I just wanted to give, the proper procedure for something like this, of how you should handle this situation. Now, if it was me personally, I would have called the sheriff's office, first of all. And if they're not breaking down my door, then they're not here to take me away or anything like that, right? So, and they don't have if they're not showing a warrant or something, they're not here to come in my house or do anything. So I'm not going to invite them in, right? But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call the sheriff's office, and I'm going to say, hey, there's some, people here that claim to be from the FBI. Would you please send an officer over? I don't feel safe. This is my address. This is my phone number in case he needs, directions or whatever, because we're out in the boonies. And then I would go outside and talk to them, because I'm curious and I want to know why they're here and who turned me in. Of course, they're not going to tell me. It's anonymous, of course. But if you ask the right questions, you might get an idea of which one of your neighbors turned you in. And, and make sure that there's not a mix-up, that it was actually my profile that they were looking at, that they have the screenshots of, that it was actually me. Because there are people out there that are cloning profiles, and things like that. So, and it might be as simple as oh, that's not really my profile. I need to report that because somebody is cloning me. This is my profile and this is the kind of stuff that I post, So it may be something as simple as that. And then ask them to stay until the sheriff's, deputy shows up, till the officer shows up. And visit with them and be polite about it. That's America. That's how America is supposed to work.